Covered in gold and collecting classics, 2022 was a transformative year for FTR. With some stiff tag team competition though, why was 2022 so clearly the year of Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, FTR? Entering 2022, FTR were in an interesting position. Armed with a catchy new theme song and the still somewhat functional Pinnacle faction, Dax and Cash would look to build on an encouraging close to 2021, including two memorable encounters with Sting. In the end, they'd produced their best campaign yet, starting the year as career heels and leaving it as truly beloved babyfaces. That process got underway rather quickly, as FTR earned an increasing respect with further battles opposite CM Punk. First, they shared a thrilling tag team tilt with Punk and his impromptu partner, Jon Moxley. One of the most unique matchups in Dynamite history, FTR more than held their own against perhaps AEW's two biggest stars, rocking Atlantic City with a match that wasn't even booked until the opening segment. Later, Dax would have another late notice meeting with Punk, as the pair went back and forth in a gripping television opener. That night, the audience's growing admiration for FTR was embraced, as they flipped the switch and entered an initially brief conflict with the Gun Club. That was March 30th, but 2 days later, things truly changed forever. At the first ROH event following Tony Khan's purchase, FTR made their promotional debut, finally bringing the long-awaited Briscoes dream match to life. What we got exceeded even the wildest of expectations, as FTR and the Briscoes produced one of the year's most magical matches. Few wrestling moments in 2022 can compare to the audience's electricity that night. There was a palpable passion, a shared intensity that poured through the screen. These two teams were simply made for each other. In their very first meeting, they'd somehow managed instant tag team perfection. Ultimately, the Briscoes would become the centerpiece rivalry of FTR's 2022, the singular smash hit of Tony Khan's first year as Ring of Honor owner. Not even a week after that initial classic though, FTR added another one to their catalogue, defending the AAA and Ring of Honor titles against the Young Bucks, a sequel to their Full Gear 2020 epic. This was a remarkable showcase of both teams' range, with FTR suddenly the match's clear protagonists. One of the year's strongest Dynamite main events, FTR retained the gold and within a week had seemingly become wrestling's hottest act. That spilled over into consistent singles outings also, especially for Dax. In fact, the tag partners even met each other for a place in the Owen, producing a match that only made their on-screen connection seem stronger. FTR were not particularly successful in their singles outings throughout the year. They almost always delivered, adding immense depth to their respective resumes. Their win-loss record remained impeccable in tag team competition regardless, and at Forbidden Door, FTR added even more gold, becoming IWGP Tag Team Champions. Now sporting an instantly iconic wrestling visual, FTR had an incomparable 7 stars to their name. In July, they'd battle the Briscoes again, sharing a grueling 2 out of 3 falls match to close Death Before Dishonor. A bruising, violent affair, this dramatic encounter was a contrasting but still incredibly fitting sequel to the more upbeat, exciting original. Speaking of drama, FTR's next major moment came in October, as they headed to London for a highly anticipated IWGP title defense against Aussie Open. In front of another special crowd, FTR did it again, producing an extraordinary main event with the United Empire tandem. It was a bloody, visceral battle, but one packed with the creativity and ingenuity that's made FTR such an extraordinary marriage of wrestling generations. FTR wouldn't quite capture the AEW tag titles in 2022, but still shared enjoyable bouts with both Swerve and Our Glory, and especially the Acclaimed, a pairing that made AEW's tag ranks their own in late 2022. FTR's year wasn't done yet though, turning to Ring of Honor for the final piece of their Briscoes trilogy. In one of the year's most violent and harrowing major matches, the two legendary teams destroyed each other in frenetic fashion. It was the series' perfect conclusion, a horror masterpiece to pair with the thriller and drama that came before it. Altogether, few trilogies in even the deepest wrestling memory can compare. At the time, those matches immediately felt like the kind of classics that would forever pair the two teams in history. Just over a month later though, that theory was tested far sooner than anyone's worst nightmares could have imagined. On January 17th, Jay Briscoe tragically passed away, leaving a wounded wrestling world reeling. In the days that followed, Briscoe's remarkable career was celebrated, with this trilogy being the most recent, but also most common memory. After a career of excellence, it was these matches that finally earned the Briscoes their greatly overdue flowers on a national stage. That feels especially poignant now, though it doesn't make the loss any easier. If nothing else, these matches secured a very special place in the history books for both teams, a trilogy that had lived forever. Those memories will follow FTR wherever they go, moments with their perfect counterparts, a truly timeless rivalry. Top guys, them boys, top 5 dead or alive, both of them. Clearly, 2022 was a special year for FTR, one that ultimately will likely define their rightful place in history. It was in 2022, after all, that the audience's almost distant, reserved respect for FTR became a more raw, unabashed adoration. In many ways, they had evolved into an almost unparalleled viewing experience, regardless of setting. Whether they were producing a Match of the Year candidate, sharing a moment with their heroes, traveling the world, or hopping in a pro wrestling time machine with the indelible Rock and Roll Express, FTR were simply sublime. Every step of the way, you felt something that stuck. Cash and Dax are no mere revival, not any longer at least. The influences are still there, shining bright and proud as ever, but FTR's continued success proves that in truth, their approach is timeless. The clear and uncontested team of 2022.
Top Guys, out.
If you enjoyed this video and want more wrestling content, please like and subscribe.